In the news tonight, ration distribution in curfew areas. Villagers commended for COVID-19 response. And McCoy a priority for police.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Edwin Nana.
Bulawinaka. Fijians in the Nasinu area were the first to receive their food ration packs late this afternoon. Deliveries were made to families in Makoi, Narere, Kalambu, Koro, Langere, Monikoso and Navosai. The Ministry of Economy says thousands of requests were received through the *161# helpline once it was activated at midday. Kelly Vadala reports.
The Suvarnasari lockdown area was divided into 11 zones to ease distribution.
Our teams have already loaded the food rations into the vehicles, and now once the data is coming in, there's a team working from home. The Ministry of Economy team is working from home in terms of cleaning the data.
The assistance was timely for these Nasinu residents, and for many this essential will last until Wednesday.
I am grateful for the rations. I had dialed the helpline after midday, but I didn't know they were going to come because it's getting late. My family were depending on the ration to help us last for the next 2 days.
100 civil servants and 40 vehicles have been dedicated to distributing food ration packs in the Suvarnasari lockdown area. The Economy Ministry says it has to carefully analyze the data received to ensure requests are genuine.
There will be certain families whereby 2 or more applications will come in, and we need to just deliver food ration 1 per family.
The Ministry of Economy's acting permanent secretary, Shri Gander, had earlier highlighted that they have sufficient food packs to distribute, as this is a demand-driven initiative. The ministry is urging the public to be genuine and honest with their request, as rations should only go to those who genuinely need it. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama says Fijian villagers and their leaders need to be commended for playing their part in the fight against COVID-19. With cases rising almost daily, Bainimarama says he is saddened by those in towns and cities who continue to disregard safety measures. Details with Josiah Nanunga.
The Prime Minister says it's come to his attention that Fijians in the Suva and Nosori areas are not taking the outbreak seriously and have disregarded all advice.
The difference can be seen with Rokotuis and Turanganikoros, who took a safer approach and put measures that has so far protected every village in the country.
Bainimarama says those in the current lockdown zone need to start listening to avoid facing the catastrophic outcome which other parts of the world are experiencing.
Sacrifices and listening to advice will save lives and avoid Fiji having mass burial and cremation. Those who continue to break the health advisory and put the nation at risk will be dealt with by the law.
Nawamangi village elder Apaitiana Reiki says they've imposed a total lockdown in the community and they will not receive any visitors.
Even though Singatoka is still a non-containment zone, but we will not let our guard down. We will continue with our fight and ensure the virus does not spread to our community. We will always support whatever decision the health ministry will impose to protect our community.
Bainimarama says the police and military have his full support in taking to task all those who continue being disobedient. Anyone caught out during curfew without a pass will be arrested, charged and taken to court. Josiah Nanunga, FBC News.
Police intervened yesterday to stop construction at the WNG Friendship Plaza along McGregor Road in Suva. FBC News observed construction workers on site yesterday in the middle of the Suvarnasari area lockdown. Inquiries were made with police to see if proper approvals had been issued for work to continue during the curfew. Officers were then sent to the site to instruct the supervisor that they must cease operations immediately. Police are pleading with the public to stay home and adhere with the COVID-19 safety requirements. Makoi in Nasinu is an area of concern for the Fiji Police Force as it continues to beef up operations during the 4-day lockdown in the Suvarnasori corridor. Acting Commissioner of Police Rusiate Tundravu says officers are closely monitoring the area on foot and using drones to ensure Fijians comply with restrictions. Josiah Nanunga reports the area is considered a red zone for COVID-19 due to the behavior of some residents.
Day 2 of lockdown. Streets in this red zone area are empty with heightened surveillance from police.
We are also mindful when arresting people because we do not know if they are carrying the virus or not. So our protocols too is there when we come and effect arrest on people.
There are what we call red zones that we have identified based on behavior. And those are the ones that will have focused policing. We will actually put in place stronger measures for those areas.
Tundrabu maintains that they've set aside a task force for COVID operations and those that will man routine operations to ensure their service are not disrupted.
Within our 12 hours, we almost have 1,000 police officers that are already across the country. And we have our reserves that are standby. So we'll top up that up with the Suvarnasori. So another 100 or more, between 100 and 200 police officers will again top up those that are already there.
This 4 days lockdown has allowed the Health Ministry to thoroughly carry out its contact tracing, swabbing and screening efforts in a bid to contain the spread of COVID-19. Josiah Nanunga, FBC News.
Businesses deemed essential can now qualify for movement passes during the 24-hour curfew and lockdown in the Suvarnasori corridor. Permanent Secretary for Commerce Shaheen Ali says they are working with the Health Ministry and the Fiji Police Force to ensure essential services continue through the pandemic. He says they are trying their best to ensure businesses such as selected manufacturing and emergency services are able to safely operate while keeping employees, clients and the Fijian population safe. The ministry has been in regular discussions with stakeholders to see how best commerce and trade-related activities, which are also essential at this time, can continue. A dedicated team has been set up to assess applications, approve movement passes, as well as business operations in line with health protocols. Coming up, reports of conditional selling and strict protocols for cargo shipment. Welcome back. 86 arrests have been made in 24 hours for breach of health restrictions and curfew orders. Acting Commissioner of Police Rusiate Tundravu says of that, 32 cases were recorded for curfew breaches, while 54 people were arrested for not following health restrictions. Tundravu says the Western Division recorded 25 cases where 11 people breached the curfew and 14 failed to comply with the health restrictions. Of the 40 cases in the Southern Division, 15 were found to have breached the curfew, while 25 were breaching health restrictions. The Eastern Division recorded 13 arrests, including 6 for curfew breaches, and 7 people were found not complying with the health restrictions. 8 cases were recorded in the Northern Division. Traders are being warned against conditional selling during the COVID-19 crisis. Consumer watchdogs have received reports that shoppers are being disallowed buying a particular food item unless they purchase other goods. Jeshulal reports apart from being illegal, the practice has been labelled as shameful.
The Consumer Council of Fiji has numerous complaints where consumers have been asked by store owners that there are conditions to buying particular items.
They were asking consumers to either spend a certain amount or buy other items in order to get sugar.
The Fijian Competition and Consumer Commission has to date inspected over 900 businesses. Supermarket owners and shopkeepers have been warned that these practices can be traced and legal action will be taken.
To those traders that are being unethical at this point in time, I urge you not to engage in such practices because all of these transactions are electronically recorded. It can be traced and we will investigate and charge those that are being unethical.
Consumers are encouraged to report these traders to the authorities.
There are some traders who are engaged in conditional selling. As you know that, just recently we saw that there was shortage of, sugar supply, which is now normal. And we found that there were certain supermarkets which were engaging in conditional selling, which is illegal.
The past week has seen thousands of people rushing to stores and supermarkets in the Central Division to stock up on supplies for the extended lockdown. Jeshulal, FBC News.
The Ministry of Transport has set up protocols for trucks and cargo on inter-island services. All vessel operators must allow designated trucks to board the vessel, and only these drivers will be allowed to move cargo and trucks from the vessel. Seafarers and shore-based workers have been urged to ensure that precautionary measures are taken, including wearing of PPEs and to practice social distancing. The Health Ministry is working with the Fiji Police Force to ensure that these strict measures are enforced and any breaches will be dealt with accordingly. And in Successful Fijian tonight, with a love for the sea and the environment around him, Mikaele Munreilangi wanted to follow his passion and become a marine biologist. However, destiny led him to education, where his dedication and commitment earned him accolades. After 30 years of teaching science around Fiji, Munreilangi is now retired and shares some of the highlights of his career. Lina Rees with this story.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
With a love for mathematics and the sciences, Mika Munreilangi ventured into marine studies, but with a shortage of teachers, the then 24-year-old took up the call.
I wanted to be a marine biologist, but I ended up becoming a teacher at a time when the government needed teachers, and I still had 1 or 2 units to go at the university. And I was living a lifestyle where I knew I had to foot my own bills and could not continue to hang on to my parents. And I lined up with friends and ended up enrolling as a teacher at the Ministry of Education. And that's how I became a teacher in the year 1989.
Munreilangi lost his father early last year, and he attributes his success to his parents, whose sacrifices helped him be a good educator. He says his students are the highlight of his career.
We'll never forget the times when Dad was the sole breadwinner. Mom had taken time off from work as a nurse, and I still remember his salary then for the whole year was $1,000. He made sure that as a teacher, he also ensured we had a good education. Teachers also make a big difference in people's lives. Feedbacks that also makes teaching life enjoyable. Just seeing people successful.
Munreilangi has advised aspiring educators that teaching is a noble profession with unlimited possibilities and a stepping stone for each student's final career choice.
When you see a scientist, that's me, a teacher. Behind that is me, the teacher. When you see a doctor, behind that it's me, a teacher. And all the vocations in life, the accountant, the doctor, the lawyer. And so we thank God for the life of the teacher. It is indeed a challenging profession. Apart from being noble.
Teaching gave him many opportunities to live and work across the country. The retired teacher has no regrets, but has put his plans on hold for now to take care of his mother, sister and his family during these times. Lina Rees, FBC News.
Welcome back. Olympic gold medal winning captain Osea Kolinisau has encouraged young Fijians to never look back when an opportunity presents itself. Kolinisau, who plays for Old Glory DC in the Major League Rugby competition, left Fiji to pursue his rugby dream in the United States. Venina Rakautonga reports about 12 Fijians are currently in the US playing in the MLR tournament. Another big upset last night as the Melbourne Rebels went down to the Blues in their opening round of the Super Rugby Trans-Tasman encounter. The Blues claimed a 50-3 victory. Wallabies winger Fiji-born Marika Korimbete's try-scoring drought continued, with Melbourne failing to get across the line. Bar football officials continue to support staff and players during these trying times, with most clubs having to cut their budget to stay afloat and keep paying its members. The Bar FC has also had its share of sacrifices. Club president Reinhold Kumar says they are proud that some of their players are frontliners and are also helping in the fight against COVID-19.
Well, just to be careful, keep your hands sanitized, keep wearing a mask. I know it's very hard to avoid exposure, especially being on the front line, but they should also be grateful that they have a full-time employment at the moment, whereas so many people in Fiji don't. So.
Leicester City defeated Chelsea 1-0 to win the FA Cup for the first time in the club's history at Wembley. Yuri Telemans produced one of the great FA Cup final goals to give Leicester City the trophy. The Rabbitohs survived a late attack from the Sharks to record a 32-22 win over Cronulla at Suncorp Stadium last night. It was a relieving victory for the Rabbitohs after last week's humiliating 50-point loss to Melbourne. However, they need further improvements to match leaders Penrith next Sunday. Cloudy conditions with brief showers experienced over the eastern parts of the larger islands today. Mostly cloudy and fine conditions prevailed elsewhere. In the west, fine weather conditions prevailed today. Eastwards from Pacific Harbour to Suva, mostly cloudy with a few showers. In the north, mostly fine weather in Lambasa and cloudy periods with some showers in Savu-Savu. At sea, an easterly wind flow prevails over Fiji waters. Easterly winds 15 to 20 knots, moderate to rough seas. Turning to the tides, the next high tide is at 9:51 p.m, followed by low tide at 3:24 a.m. tomorrow. Sunrise is at 6:28. The outlook for tomorrow, cloudy periods with brief showers over the eastern parts and the interior of the larger islands. Elsewhere, mostly cloudy conditions with possible afternoon showers. For Tuesday, cloudy periods with a few showers over the eastern parts and the interior of the larger islands. And recapping our main stories, ration distribution in curfew areas underway, villagers commended for COVID-19 response, and Makoi a priority for police. For these stories and others, tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question, this week we are asking, has the extended school break resulted in more screen time for students? Visit our FBC News website to answer. You can also send us newsworthy pictures and videos. Email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. You can also download our FBC News app to keep updated with the very latest in news and sports and listen to our 6 radio stations live. That's your news this evening. I'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, stay safe. Modemanda.